back in the studio with Kelly Lukschander. She is our volunteer coordinator, and we're going to talk a little bit about why you should record your volunteer hours, what happens to them, why they're important, and some other opportunities for volunteerism. Welcome,
That's right.
Kelly.
Thank you. Good morning. So I wanted to start off, I know in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we just had this great holiday. It had me thinking about all of our volunteers here at Green Spring, and I wanted to take that opportunity to say, thank you to those volunteers, all the work that we do here at Green Spring. We're starting to collect the volunteer hours for the year, and that's what you were referring to. I'd like everybody, if you haven't already, just keep turning in your hours every month, just to the front desks, get them to me, and what I'm going to do by the end of the year is send out a little report to you if you've been turning in your volunteer hours, and I'll say, this is what I have for each month, or I'm missing this month, could you help me out? So you're going to get a report so you make sure that I have what you have submitted, and if I haven't collected something, we can correct it by then. So we collect these volunteer hours for a couple of reasons, actually. For one, what we do is a special ceremony in February of every new year. We have the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards. So what that is, that's a national recognized program, basically submitting hours, and you get different service awards based on your length of hours that you've served for the year. So getting those hours to me makes sure that I can get you that award and recognize our volunteers for all the work that we do. But another important reason for volunteer hours is we actually keep track at Green Spring how many volunteers we have here that are active in our community. So if I don't know you're volunteering, maybe you're not one of those people that, I don't do it for recognition. And we were talking about this, I do it because I want to, which is...
Or maybe you don't do it right here at Green Spring.
Right, okay, that's also, right. It's not about that. We are tracking your hours to see if you're volunteering and what you're doing. So it is important, even if you're like, I'm not one for awards, we still need to know what your volunteer hours, so please get those to me. And if you're a new resident and you haven't tracked anything this year, maybe you have volunteered outside of the community, I still accept those hours. Mm-hmm. So what you would do to submit your hours, typically the process is you collect, there's a form at each front desk, you can ask for the volunteer form, and typically it's every month you would say what you did and how many hours you worked for that month, and then you turn it into the philanthropy boxes at the front desk. So it's all at the front desk. You don't have to go anywhere. But if you're a newer resident and there's stuff from the past, you can put it all on that one form, as long as it's clear. In January I did 10 hours at my church or something like that, and then I can collect those and make sure that's correct. So get them in as soon as possible. I'm trying to get the report out, hopefully, right in the beginning of the new year after I get all the hours from December. So make sure to turn those in. So another thing I wanted to talk about, last time I was on, I recognized a few volunteer groups that we have on campus. Basically, we have all these volunteers that are volunteering within our community to make our community this great place to live. And most of our resident-run groups are all volunteer hours,
Exactly.
Strictly volunteers, leading groups like you do, yourself, and these volunteers here at Channel 6. These are people who are putting in their time for free to make Green Spring such a great place to live. I think last time I even talked about the Green Spring Players. We just had a great play.
Right.
They're not getting any salary for that. They're putting it on for our enjoyment. It adds to the community. So a couple things I wanted to highlight. We have a few groups that actually volunteer time over at Garden Ridge. I have outside people who come in and people who do certain things at Garden Ridge, but we have this great pet therapy group that is there every week in Garden Ridge. And if you have a pet and you want to bring it over to Garden Ridge, the best way to do it is join this pet visit group, because they meet every single Tuesday at 11 o'clock and they walk around with their dogs and visit with people, and you should see the smiles that are on the faces of staff and the residents who are living there. So that is a huge group. That's a big service. So I want to say thank you to them for what they do.
Maybe check with them to see if there are any particular requirements.
Absolutely, yes. And you can call me if you're interested. There's a form you need to fill out from your vet, and I usually meet with the dog to make sure they're friendly and able to walk around with no problem. So. Yeah, if your dog's like crazy or a barker, maybe not for you.
Like my dogs have been.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great opportunity in Garden Ridge. I wanted to highlight them. And then also, there's this group that's been going on for years, way before my time. It's called Friends Visiting Friends in Garden Ridge.
Yes.
You've probably heard of it. And
Yes.
what they do is they get the birthdays of everyone living there, and they will personally bring a card and they have a little like flower that they give to the
Right.
people on your birthday. So they celebrate everybody's birthday there, which is really something. They just do that out of their own time. They get the listing of birthdays and they divvy it up with the group, and that's just a really nice service. So if you're interested in volunteering with that, you can talk to me and I can get you in contact with their leader. But that's something that's been going on for quite some time, and it's really nice for our residents over in Garden Ridge. I could talk forever. We have so many volunteer groups that are amazing, but a couple publications you might not think about. The Villager that you get every month. There are residents, a few, who spend so many hours putting that together.
Right.
People even who are writing the stories are residents, and then the editing. Every single month they're putting in all these hours to put out this nice, newsletter for everybody. So that's something to think about. And then also the photo directory. If you might not think about it. Oh, I use that sometimes when I hear a name. I want to check. I know I use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's residents taking their time to put all the names in the right place, make sure they have the pictures. So that's just something I wanted to highlight and
Right.
thank them for what they do, because without that,
Well, now the new directory of what's it called, resource directory,
yes.
will be coming out
Yes.
after the first of the year.
So the Community Resources Handbook, that is going to be done by Community Resources, and they're just going to be updating all of the group information. So that is important. So if you're a group leader, look in your cubby to be getting something to make sure you have the right
Yeah, we just
information.
got them
You got them yesterday. Okay, good. Because that's how it works. And for
And that's really a good resource for people who say, well, I'd like to volunteer at something, but I don't know what.
Exactly.
Go
So
through
yeah.
that and find a group that you're interested in.
Absolutely. And we have, with these kind of groups that I would consider, we have leisure groups like Bridge and
Sure.
things like that, which is still very important. People who are leading those groups help add to our community. But then there are also groups, like to get involved, like the Villager or
Right.
something like that. You can look in the Community Resources Handbook. That is good. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah.
So then there's just a few other kind of one-time opportunities I have open for volunteers right now. If you're feeling maybe end of the year, it's the holidays, I kind of want to do something in Garden Ridge or something else for the community. I have a few specific things. I have a need right now for Sunday service volunteers in Garden Ridge, and so that is about an hour commitment from 1:45 to 2:45. It's needed every Sunday. And it's somebody who can be physically in the Garden Ridge meeting room and help kind of with the service when it's passing out the pamphlet, the bulletins, helping people turn the page, just kind of having somebody there. I know it's a big need. So if you have an hour, maybe I can do one Sunday a month or something. Let me know, give me a call, and we'll get you started, because that's something that they need right now in Garden Ridge. Another thing I wanted to talk about was hospice volunteering. I've talked about this before. It's a nice opportunity to get started. I'm looking for more volunteers to help with patient visit in hospice. So we have our own hospice here at Green Spring, and as part of that hospice care, if you're in hospice, you can have a volunteer come and spend time with you maybe once a week. So I'm looking for those individuals who'd be willing to spend some time with people, and that's a big opportunity. Open your heart and help be there with somebody.
Right.
So I want to say, if you're kind of interested in that, you're not sure about it, you want more information, give me a call. We'll sit down, we'll talk, and see if that's something for you. And if not, we'll find something to do at Green Spring.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing right now is making sure everybody gets their hours in, and make sure that I have all the correct hours in, so that you get the correct recognition, and then we also have our records straight. So if you haven't turned any hours in, I want to just say one last call. Make sure, just get it to me somehow. Write it down on a piece of paper. Even if it's a rough average, you're like, Kelly, I really don't know. Maybe it's 10 hours a month. That's okay. I'm not going to be tracking down your record and say, hey, I didn't see you there that day. I'm going to give you 9 hours. No, if you say it, I'm going to believe you. Give it your best estimate, and we'll get that.
Now, when do these need to be in for the year?
I would say as early, I know to get December has to happen.
Right.
So as early as you can, maybe you can estimate what you'll be doing at the end of December. So try to get it in end of December, very early in January, so I can get these letters out. I have kind of a big running document. I can just put in the numbers and let you know what I have for you for the year so far. So as soon as you can at the end of the year, turn in your hours. But if you have a rough estimate, just get it to me now, and I'll believe you.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it. Volunteers, we're good people here.
Well, so often when you're volunteering, you have a set time
That's
that you
right.
go and volunteer. So, you know, well, yeah,
That's
I
true.
know I'm going to do 10 hours in December, so I'll go ahead and
That's
put it in.
exactly right. So you can go ahead and do that if you know that you'll be doing something in December. So.
Right.
And it is the end of the year. I know it's a great time. We're having a lot of outside volunteers coming in now and spending time in Garden Ridge. And I have other opportunities there that I do usually recommend for people who want to just do some one-time volunteering is to kind of pair up with a resident over in Garden Ridge that you could just visit maybe once a week. Some people don't have family nearby, and we have the holidays coming up, and it'd be nice just to drop in with somebody. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. It's an easy opportunity. I have kind of a list of residents that I think would like to have a visit. So if you're interested in that, go ahead. If you've got family members or grandkids who would like to maybe volunteer and come in, I welcome them. Let's have the people here for the holidays and, you know, keep the spirits up in Garden Ridge and here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kelly, thank you. I think if anybody wants to volunteer, you have no excuse not to. And if you're feeling just a little down because of the holidays and maybe the family's not around or you're alone for the first time, volunteering is the best way in the world to get yourself back on track, and that's from personal experience. So look around and see what other people need and what you can give. You might be surprised. All you need to give is a smile and a hello and how are you today, and then sit back and listen to their stories. So think about it and do some volunteering.